All right, Halloween episode time.
Woo!
Let's get started with the Alpha and Omega Health Podcast with Doctors Rachel and Tri Myers.
This topic of today, or this podcast, is going to be inflammation. So we know it's sugary time, football time, everything. So typically bad choices with food. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about that and how that affects your body.
So Tri, how do you like to eat whenever I'm out of town?
We're really going to talk about this right now?
Yeah, we are.
So here in North Carolina, we like to eat a thing called Bojangles.
What is Bojangles?
It's glorious. So when we were married, we were in Texas at the time.
Yet.
No, I think we were married. No, we weren't married. We visited here.
Tri talked about Bojangles like it was
we're in Dallas.
Literally a sit-down, nice restaurant.
It is. You can sit down, and it is nice.
Anyway, go ahead.
Comment below if you think Bojangles is worth it. Anyway, so I'll have a little bit of that every now and then, and some barbecue every now and then. And
okay, how does that make you feel?
At the time, fantastic. So it's kind of like your
Later
preacher says,
on?
like if you ain't sinning right, like if you're not feeling good when you sin, you're doing it wrong, kind of a thing.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so do you want people to be healthy? Actually, do you want our children to be healthy?
Yes. Way to guilt trip me, Mom. Jeez.
So, what would be a better way of eating, you think?
So, definitely more vegetables is better.
Yeah.
Of course, we typically, based on the research that we've done and kind of our mentality, we're not opposed to meat, good quality meat. We'll talk about probably more about that later, about the quality of meat versus just buying just a random piece of meat. Definitely vegetables. We'll probably talk more about cooking the vegetables, like raw versus really.
Man, especially
mush.
out here in North Carolina,
we like to mush our stuff.
Boil it to death. Really and truly, you're better off just drinking that pot liquor because that's where all the nutrients went. Yeah.
Really? People are going to start doing that.
I mean, it is.
Gluten-free. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and they do label things gluten-free when it's
like
a
water.
Vegetable. There's no gluten in vegetables.
Gotta love the marketing.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so when we talk about inflammation, what does that even mean?
Okay, so what your body does is it will become very irritated. So think of like inside the body is like a science experiment. So it's less of just like, oh, I'm just eating this one thing and it's going to go in and go out and that's it. Like when you do that, your hormones start going, your body breaks it down, different chemicals, your body just reacts differently to its stimulus. So food is going to be some type of event for the body. Like we'll talk a little bit later about your different types of nervous system, like your sympathetic, your fight or flight, or your parasympathetic, your rest and digest. So hopefully your nervous system is functioning well, that you're not in your fight or flight mode all the time, where your body actually eats something and your body hopefully has the capacity to rest and digest. If not, then that will be a major problem by itself, which we can probably talk about later. But when your body ingests something, it has to go through the process of breaking it down. Now, if it's something is very irritating, your body doesn't like it and it starts causing inflammation. So it's where like the tissue inside of it swells. And we'll talk a little bit about leaky gut is what it's called. And it's where your body becomes so inflamed of your gut lining. So say your stomach's here, like the lining that kind of holds the stomach together, that has like little pores that will go in and absorb the tissue, the stuff that's broken down. Now, all of a sudden, if it's inflamed, that tissue starts to expand. And now there's things that go through the holes that it shouldn't, is too big, or different types of things that should be going out to the waste, and then your body absorbs it and then it starts to develop an autoimmune disease. So your body starts fighting things that it shouldn't be fighting. So we can definitely talk a little bit more about that.
So let's break all this down because you're throwing a lot.
I know. It's like a rabbit hole.
I'm
like, where are you going to go?
Okay. So the way I like to think of inflammation is
Simplify it.
If you roll your ankle, what happens? It blows up.
Sure.
That's inflammation.
Okay.
You had an event that happened. and now you get the swelling. And the same thing with our body, like what you were saying, you ingest things that really aren't great for our bodies. And so cells, tissues get swollen up, right? So the ways that we can decrease that inflammation are going to be eating better. And you kind of touched on that. So to just simplify that, breads, pastas, cereals, sugars, certain types of meats like that just are not really, you really should be eating like grass-fed organic meats. But if you can't do that, you want to...
There's a lot of the nitrites and stuff that's in like the bacon and meats to make it last longer.
Yeah.
Or inflame the body.
But anyway, breads, pastas, cereals, sugars, all that kind of stuff, highly inflammatory. You've got to stay away from it. But of course, now we're getting into the holidays and you're like, well, then what do I eat? But there really is like, I love this stuff. There are so many different recipes. And you know what? Like maybe we can provide you with some like great holiday recipes that are not just
maybe
loaded with all of that stuff.
We can attach that.
Yeah. Like going to Bojangles, what's beneficial in that box?
A large...
Of four-piece
Supreme dinner chicken, French fries, iced tea.
Sweet iced tea.
Sweet iced tea. I don't think there's a difference here in North Carolina. Like, you just say tea, they know what you're going to get.
Well, in Texas there was, which is
I know,
strange.
I did that one time. I was like, hey, can I get some tea? And they brought, I was like, ugh, what is this?
Where's all the syrup and sugar?
How dare you? So a lot of patients come in, I know, to my office, and I know yours too, and they're in pain. Like 99% of people are hurting.
Yeah.
So how does this affect, say, their adjustments, their results, their everything?
Just my personal experience, and I think you could say the same thing. Every now and then, probably every 6 months to a year, we'll go through a detox and just kind of try to clean our systems out. A lot of people think detox, well, that has to do with just going to the bathroom a lot. Not true. It's also helping your lymph system actually work like it's supposed to.
What is the lymph system?
I'm not going to explain the entire lymph system to you, but I can simplify it.
Okay.
If you think about when you get sick, your lymph nodes, like in your neck, will kind of get swollen up. Basically, it's a way to kind of grab the bad guys and try to eliminate them out of your system.
Makes sense.
And so sometimes it can kind of get clogged up and it doesn't move properly. And so doing a detox actually helps to get that going as well. Helps with your lungs and your skin. Like another thing that can cause inflammation is the stuff that we put on our skin. We do not think about it as an organ, but it actually is the largest organ that we have. Yeah. And how awful are we to that organ? You know, not putting on sunscreen and just wanting to get super tan. Like, not great. Anyway.
That's good.
How does it help our patients? That was the original question, right? What I have noticed for me personally is whenever I am getting my adjustments, but then I also am eating clean, or going through that detox, like my hands don't hurt as bad. I don't have the achy back that I will sometimes get, especially like, I mean, we go on vacation. Sometimes I splurge. I love sugar and I love bread. And if I eat too much of it, I definitely get more achy. My rings fit a little tighter, that sort of thing. So, you know, what do you experience?
So as, you know, prior athlete, you know, any boy just doing stupid stuff, jumping off things, whatever. I have some of those areas that look a little funnier, have a little degeneration kind of my lower back and maybe a little bit of knee, etc. So
flying
those
off of four-wheelers with
Thanks,
no brakes.
Yeah, but so those are going to be always my weak links of my body.
Yep.
So I get the adjustments, I do the exercise, I do all those things to help improve that, to try to build up that weaken link as strong as it can. But if I ever do anything, that's where my body's going to break down. So that's why I stay on top of my adjustments and my core exercises, etc. But whenever I do eat terrible, we go on vacation, whatever, like it's already an irritated area. And so I feel those areas a little bit more in my weak spots.
Yeah.
And you pay for it.
Yeah. I've also had patients that had radiating problems, and come to find out, they were taking statin drugs. Anybody out there who has taken a statin might have noticed their extremities. They actually had, like in their legs especially, they might have like some radiating pain or tingling or something like that. So I usually will tell my patients, okay, I want you to talk to your doctor, see if there's something else they can put you on for your cholesterol. But what I also need you to do is start eating better. Because actually the big three that I have noticed, your blood sugar, your cholesterol, and your blood pressure. If you are eating the way that we were talking about, vegetables, fruit, and lean meat, I have seen it time and time again, all of that starts to go away. Because your cholesterol, we have it in our body naturally. It's a good thing.
So it's not the bad guy that they're all saying it is?
Right. We all think that it's a bad thing, but it's in there naturally. And so what ends up happening when we're eating all the sugary stuff, all the breads, all that stuff, it causes the vessels to become inflamed. And so now, just like drinking coffee through one of those teeny tiny straws, your blood pressure is going to go up because you've got to try to still get that blood flow through. Mm-hmm. And so you create you damage the vessel. And so what does the body do? The body says, well, I need to put a scab on that. What is an internal scab? It's that cholesterol putting those little plaques along the vessel. And so, yes, that's a bad thing. But if you just change your diet, the vessel isn't inflamed anymore. It opens up. The pressure goes down. The cholesterol goes down. Your sugar goes down. So those are things that people do not realize that they have the control over.
So is it like arteriosclerosis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Change your diet. It's so helpful.
So it's kind of interesting.
Moderation is important.
So it's kind of interesting when you talk like that. It sounds like it's a cause and effect type thing. And you're looking at like, hey, you have the cholesterol. The bad guy is attaching itself to my artery that the blood pressure is pumping so far through. God forbid that cholesterol gets, sloughed off, and then now it's going to cause a stroke. So everyone's fearful of that. But the thing is, like Rachel was saying, if you improve your diet, the hole gets bigger. Then that way it's not so much pressure on the scab itself. And then the body can actually heal the scab, the injury resulting from the high pressure. And then your body is naturally going to absorb that stuff. So you won't have the plaquing there anymore if you don't keep on ripping off the scab.
And then you don't have to take the statin medication. It's awesome. And then you don't have this stuff that you're thinking is a chiropractic problem.
So it's interesting with the cholesterol. Yes, we're talking about like the scab of there, the plaque, but cholesterol is there for hormone production. So your hormones, if your hormones are all messed up, thyroids, etc. If your cholesterol is down, is diminished due to statin drugs, it's going to affect your hormone production. It also looks at cellular repair. That's the why the liver is sending the cholesterol to the damaged tissue is to try to help it repair. So if you're dealing with chronic injuries, back pain, neck pain, shoulder, whatever, you want your cholesterol working well so that it can repair itself.
Yep, absolutely. And we actually, you were talking about cellular repair, but we actually have 2 different types of machines that are actually really helpful for cellular repair. We've got the laser here at my office, and
I have a pulse therapy. It's called PEMF. So
we'll be talking about that in some future episodes. But
two different machines that do 2 different types of treatment that will help speed up this inflammation. The success of getting that out of there, decreasing the inflammation. So stay tuned. I can't wait to show you those cool tools we have.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us.
And subscribe below.
Yeah.
Make sure you follow us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, Stitcher, and much more. Find it all at aohealthpodcast.com. That's aohealthpodcast.com.